Good morning, guys. Welcome to Mountain Homestead. Today's video is going to be just a little tour of the studio. I have it pretty much unpacked and put away as good as it's going to get. You have to remember this is about 600 square feet. I went from a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house to 600 square feet. So all of the big furniture that you're going to see, all the white big furniture that you see is not something that when I leave here I'll be taking with me. It was my grandma's set and I inherited it when she passed away. And then I had painted it white for my oldest grandchild's. She had a room at the house when she was little. Oops, sorry, my toast is done. But anyway, so yeah, I gave it to my niece and she stayed here her last 2 years of being a teenager before she moved out. So it stayed, and it'll stay here because my sister and brother-in-law use this as a place for when their kids come home for the holidays, they stay here. So anyways, the big white furniture, and I'm gonna try not to film myself. I'm in comfy clothes. I did a 15-minute video yesterday and realized that my reflection was in the mirror most of the time. So I'm redoing this. I'm going to try to be mindful. But so this little piece, the bed, the vanity, the chair, that desk or that dresser she had bought separately and painted it to match. And then that dresser. So those are all going to stay. That plant was originally here. That desk was also my grandma's, but I'm taking that. So this is where I lay in bed and watch TV. Yeah, this is where I'm going to try not to get any reflections. It is a swamp cooler, which that thing gets very cold. If you're not familiar with swamp coolers, it's also called evaporative cooler. So it uses water and it runs it through these pads, and then the airflow, it cools down the water and pushes the cold air in. When it's over 110, it usually doesn't work, but it works pretty good right now. That plant stays. So for like Christmas time, I'm going to get a cover for that. Get probably a tall, slender little Christmas tree. But so there's the TV. Those are rechargeable sconces. I got those off of Amazon. My daughter and son-in-law gave me some money for my birthday, and I went ahead and treated myself with a few things. So yeah. It's a vanity / desk. I do have stuff on the floor because there's no other room for it. So my sewing machine, which I've already used. There's some electronics back in there, like rechargeable fans and that type of stuff. Little washable rug. I think that one from Costco. And I got this one, which is really similar, at Walmart. That chair was already here. That was my niece's. So I just sit there to read. That's one of those like heating fireplaces. It's the only heater that'll be here in the wintertime. Like I said, I'm going to try to cover the windows because they're single pane. That is a tablecloth in the window because those are just shears and there's no blinds on that window. That faces south. So the blazing hot sun. And then the moon right now is so bright. So I had to do something until I can get some blinds. But there's a bookshelf that does not have any gardening books. Gardening or landscaping, seed starting, homesteading, those are all in storage. Those are going to need a whole nother bookshelf on their own. I have all my cookbooks on one shelf. Devotionals and that type of stuff on another, and then just classics, and then magazines, and then like cottage decor books there and there. This painting or print, it says Thomas on it, and the author is E. Thomas. I got that half price at Salvation Army, so I paid $10 and like 33 cents for it. So super cute. All I did was just literally dusted it off and cleaned the woodwork and hung it up and called it good. So every square inch that can have storage, I'm using for storage. So the baskets, those have things in them that were like sewing and crafts. So those are sewing and crafts. Let's see what has storage. Oh, my cedar chest that my dad built me when I was a baby. It was supposed to be for toys, but my mom told him that it would probably kill me, so it was never really used for toys, but I'm using that for food storage. So dry goods, cans, cans, anything dry is in there. You'll notice a lot of things that were from the craft room. That was like the curtain on the racks. That was in my bedroom. Got all the prints and lamps and stuff. That lamp was actually brand new in a box in storage because it was supposed to go on a dresser that didn't get built. It was supposed to go on there, but so I just have my sound machine, my aromatherapy, where it does the smells. So yeah, and all the prints. There's more decor right there. So, and there's a little bit of I'll get into the kitchen and show you that, but here's some 4th of July decor. And then when that comes down, it'll be more like just some white florals, maybe some lemons, some like summer colors. I'm not into the beachy coastal stuff, so, and I don't have anything like that, so anyways, there's that. There's more stuff. Isn't that cute? A frog and a frog. That mirror was one of my other grandma's, but that desk, the top just comes down, so I am using it for desk and storage. More 4th of July. I'll do the kitchen real quick. I'm not going to show much of that wall because it's a gallery wall of my family, so for their privacy. I'm also not going to show much of outside, even though I have the door open, and because it's my sister and brother-in-law's property, so I just want to keep their privacy. I have 7 potted plants that I brought. One I don't think is going to make it. The oak leaf hydrangea I don't think is going to make it. But so yeah, I just made some toast, have some coffee. Normally all this stuff is sitting up there, but that gets too hot. There's no upper cabinets, so I do have them decorated. That shelf was in the garage that was Jean's, and he said I could have it, so I've got that decorated. It's really heavy, so I've got it anchored into the wall. Let's see, so there's my spice cabinet and my oil and condiments right here next to the stove. Sorry for the sunlight. I usually have a hot plate up there, but I've been keeping it stored down below and then just bring it out when I use it. That way it looks a little bit less cluttered up there. But this is the display that's usually on top of there. So, like I said, getting ready to have some breakfast. I did Whole30 for a month and a half, so I'm introducing toast and butter today for the first time. We'll see how that goes. You have to excuse the refrigerator. I have no idea. It's the motor. If I bang on it, it stops. But so here's just above sink little to, put some cute little things. If you'll notice, see, that's the curtain that I had hanging in the kitchen at the other house. So I have that here. Oh, that is so loud. So there's no garbage disposal. There is no dishwasher, which I don't mind hand washing dishes. I was raised and washed dishes by hand my whole life, so I didn't have a dishwasher till one of the rentals with the kids' dad, and then at Jean's house there was a dishwasher. But anyways, no garbage disposal. There is a microwave. I don't use it hardly ever, but a small apartment size fridge. And then my sister and brother-in-law are letting me use part of their freezer because Jean did let me bring a lot of food. He really did. So there's a lot of meat in there, and then that is full. So that's just storage for paper products, plastic wrap, aluminum foil, the cleaning supplies that are for the apartment when no one's here. All of the stuff that stays in the apartment for people to use when there's no one living here is all down here. And then all of my stuff, dishes, pots and pans. No, my sister's pots and pans are in there too. So our pots and pans are in there. And then just glasses, and then there's plates. And then if you'll remember, this was the rod that was on the craft bench, and that's the sheet curtain that I'd made. I just got these at the Dollar Tree. The Dollar Tree here finally got to like the $3 and $5 range, so those kind of go with everything. The floors are just plywood that they painted, so yesterday they got vacuumed and damp mopped. Poppy's bed, which she's not using anymore, she actually decided that she wanted to start sleeping with me, but there's the, oops, darn it. I gotta, oh well. There's my butter pack collection. So I'm gonna try to change angles here so you can't see me in the mirror. This is a pantry. It was a closet, but I just got 2 stackable shelves and anchored them to the wall. And then that is all of my dry foods, canned goods. I mean, everything is in there. There's a couple appliances, electric skillet up there, crock pot down there. There's a potato bin. I can kind of show a little bit. There's a stool to get up there. But yeah, just a pantry. So I'm gonna carefully flip you around. Bathroom, it's just got a shower, sink. So the curtains that were in here, sorry, it's kind of dark. I'm using the tea towels that I had got last Christmas from Magnolia Home, or I think that's what it's called. So I just got little cafe clips. But there's those, there's the towels. And then this was already in here for toiletries when my niece lived here. So I'm just using that because there's no cabinet. That does hold some stuff, but not very much. And then, let's see, there's some storage bins up there. I just went ahead and kept them, and I'm using them for overflow of toiletries because I got to bring a lot with me. So, like I said, I kept a very stocked house. So there's a lot of toiletries up there. I won't have to buy shampoo or soap or any of that kind of stuff for over a year for sure. I mean, or more. So, see, there's a print I hung up. And then that was from the craft room, if you remember. This was in the bathroom. I'm holding toilet paper in there. Those are those little makeup rags that were on the bathroom counter. So, and then I don't think you ever saw this, but this is my jewelry stuff that I had in my closet. I made this years ago, just with nail heads. Really hard to keep them lined. But anyways, I've always used it for my necklaces. I have no idea what that's supposed to be. Probably like a planter, but I've always used it for my earrings and bracelets and stuff. So anyways, that's it. That is it. Step stools, that belongs here and that belongs here. Those are really helpful. But yeah, I use baskets underneath dressers. My reflection I cannot keep from showing it. So hopefully for those, hopefully no one's paying attention. But yeah, that's what I got, guys. So it is what it is. I'm here. I don't have a date that I have to be out by. So my sister and brother-in-law are being really gracious there. So I have a roof over my head. It is small, but it's teaching me to rest. It's teaching me to draw closer to the Lord. It really is. And it's just something I'm doing. So Jean's doing okay from what I understand. So just pray for us both. Anyways, that's what I've got today. If you have any questions, just put comments down below. Remember to be kind. Don't be snarky. It's not necessary. So again, I'm still not divulging any information. It's not necessary, but we do speak every now and then because he has questions. He's trying to keep the gardens going, and he has questions. And then just about how things in the house, because I took care of all of that. So and because we're amicable, I'm helping him as much as I can there. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up, but just remember to always be kind and do what makes you happy. Thanks, guys. Bye.